What's going on, you guys? It's Krisping here, and today I'm continuing a series that I started 2 years ago called Storytime with Krisping. That video was about me being drunk for the first time, and it's actually my third most successful video ever. Why didn't I continue with that series then? Well, I have no good answer for that. I think that was mostly because I posted it on my Facebook, and a lot of my friends decided to watch it because they already knew it was kind of a funny story. I think that was why the video got such a good response. The link will be in the description if you want to see that, so you know what I'm talking about. So today I will continue on the same path of self-humiliation and talk a little bit about how I sometimes can be a little socially awkward. I mean, mostly in my private life. I have no problem putting a mask on and pretend to be nice to people in my work life. I used to work in the restaurant business, mostly in the kitchen though, but also as a bartender and a waiter when I was in school. But in private I'm kind of awkward. And this story is a good example of that. Well, enough chit chatter, or whatever the kids say these days. Here's my most awkward story so far. Last year I was going to visit my friend, let's call him Klaus, in the city where he's going to university. This is kind of a small town and it's mostly students and seniors there as far as I noticed. I might be wrong, they actually have a pretty well-known hockey team as well, so it might be a little bit bigger than I think. Anyway, I was going to be there for 3 days and then travel further to get out to the west coast where my father lives. On day one we were just chilling and he told me about this party he was invited to on the second day. And I asked if it was okay if I joined him and we went there together, otherwise I would just be sitting in his apartment, which would be more awkward. Or he would probably stay with me, he's kind of a nice guy in that way. It was fine for me to come there and we went. At the party it was mostly guys from his school, so people in their 20s studying to become orthopedic engineers. I think that's the right translation there from Swedish to English. Most seemed to be really nice people, and after looking around awkwardly after my friend went to sit in the middle of the room with a bunch of people, I decided that I had to talk to people. Yeah, kind of. It actually went quite well during the evening, and I ended up with the Danish people in the group. I live in Sweden, so it's quite normal to have some Danish people thrown in every now and then. I have worked in Denmark before, so I have some understanding of the Danish language, and it's quite similar to Swedish, so that's not really a problem for me. But most of these guys either knew Swedish or were speaking English instead, because we were a bit more up north in Sweden, where people don't know Danish as well as they do in southern Sweden. I sat with them playing cards for most of the night, and somewhere around 11 it was time for them to go to the club. University club, so I wasn't welcome anymore. They couldn't get me in there. I think we actually asked the bouncer as well. My friend's plan was for us to follow them down to the club and then go home and sleep. I was leaving at noon the day after. But when we got to the club, my friend looked a little like he wanted to keep partying. I don't really know, I can't read people that well, but at least I think so, I know him quite well. He talked to some people in the line and then asked me if I was ready to go home. I was just about ready to say yes when one of the Danish girls that I talked to earlier that night appeared behind me and said no, that I was going to follow her home. What? Apparently. We had been talking, and I guess that she was flirting with me without me catching it. That's a little bit how bad I can be socially sometimes. My friend said okay and went into the club. God bless him, he didn't want to cock-block me, which was nice. And in kind of shock, I followed this woman into a cab and we traveled like 20 minutes out of town. The situation between us felt a little awkward because I kind of understood what she wanted out of the night, but I wasn't sure if I was actually interested. I mean, I have no negative things to say about her. She was good looking and she was funny, but I'm not really comfortable in intimate situations, not really out of the blue like that either. The language situation was also weird. She insisted that I was gonna speak Swedish when she were speaking English, and that just fucked with my brain, so I talked English as well. That made it a little bit easier for us both to understand each other, I think. She could have spoken Danish, I would have understood that as well, but yeah, English was a nice way to go. Then, let's see, well, we got up to her apartment and I took a glass of water, and then naturally and kind of awkwardly we got into bed. At first I just laid there, I laid a while under the covers with pants and shirts on, fully dressed, just actually sweating as hell. A little awkward. Then she asked if I wanted to see a movie. I know what that means for most people. Everybody heard of Netflix and chill. But for me, when someone asks, shall we see a movie? It means, shall we see a movie? So I chose a movie on Netflix that I really liked and proceeded with watching the movie. While she kept kind of like flirting with me and hitting on me, with little to no effect actually. Just made me confused. I laid there and suddenly we started kissing, but in the middle of the makeout session I kind of paused and looked at the TV and said, look at this scene. This is why I love this movie. It's so good. Yada yada yada, you know. I was more interested in seeing the movie than actually doing something intimate with her. She tried to shut me up by kissing me again, but after a while I did the same thing. But when the movie ended, we continued our makeout session and kind of ended it with her falling asleep and me just laying there thinking that I probably missed an opportunity. But yeah. When she fell asleep, I also got the feeling that I needed to take a shit. And I thought, well, as long as I don't wake her up. I have this thing that I don't like to go to the bathroom in other people's homes. Sometimes when you're away you have to do it, and in this case I also felt that I had to do it. Otherwise I would just not be able to sleep or anything. So, yeah. So I thought, like, as long as I don't wake her up, when I'm going to the bathroom, it should be fine. I was nervous as hell and went to the bathroom and sat there for what felt like an hour. Probably it was shorter time, but it felt kind of awkward. And I heard her wake up and walk into the other bathroom in the apartment. I sat there and thought, fuck. This awkward situation feels even worse now when I've been sitting on the toilet for an hour. She's going to think that I got sick or something. Well, she didn't say anything. And after I got back into bed, I fell asleep, woke up early and left with a kind of an awkward hug and asked for a direction to the bus station. So yeah, that was an awkward story, and I'm kind of awkward like that sometimes, but it feels like I don't really know what she fell for there. Like, I'm actually not really sure how I got her so into me that she wanted to take me home. I mean, yeah, maybe she had a thing for beards? Like, I'm 100% sure it wasn't my sharp tongue and wit, you know, because that's not really me. If this girl by any chance watches this video, don't be sad. You're not the only one that had to suffer through a night of me not getting your hints. I'm quite oblivious when it comes to those kind of things. I don't know if it's maybe for some lack of confidence when it comes to my appearance that makes it so that I have a hard time believing that somebody's interested in a intimate relationship in that way. Well, that got awfully personal, but thank you guys for watching this video, and I hope that you liked it. If you did, please leave a like rating down below and subscribe if you want to see more. I also want to ask if these personal videos are something you would like to continue seeing, if that is fun to listen to, or yeah, if I just should throw all those manuscripts away otherwise. Because I've been writing a couple more of these, and I have a lot of stories to tell. Some of them more awkward than others, but this one was a good start, I thought. So yeah, please leave your thoughts down in the comment section, and have a nice day. Bye.